Good evening, everyone. And who else here for the first time tonight? I know you all. Well, welcome again. Glad to see you here. And my name is Tom, and I'm going to have a few announcements before we get started. If you haven't already silenced your cell phones, please remember to do so at this time. We invite you to join Geshe Ngawang Phende for our weekly Medicine Buddha practice in person and online at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. Next week, for our Tuesday evening public talk at 7 p.m., Geshe Phende will speak on the practice of patience and forgiveness. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m., the monks conduct evening prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama's long life and other teachers. On Thursdays at 4:30 p.m., the Drepung Loseling monks conduct the Protector Puja for smooth journeys, successive interviews, and medical treatments, new businesses, etc. Our annual year-end retreat with Geshe Phende will be held on the freedom from the four attachments, an in-depth exploration on the obstacles to spiritual practice and the path to genuine freedom, from December 27th through the 30th. It will consist of 3 sessions each day. It'll be held here at the center, is open to all, and free for current members. I think you do need to go online and register for that if you would like to attend. Our popular 5-class foundation series, which is ideal for beginners, is taught by Geshe Ngawang Phende and begins January 10th via Zoom. This series will begin with an introduction to Buddhism and continue with retreats on 4 universal Buddhist meditation practices, one Saturday each month through May. This series is a prerequisite for the intermediate series and other retreats. The center will be closed December 24th through January 1st, and all regular practices are canceled except for the year-end retreat, which, as I said, runs from the 27th through the 30th. Please check the calendar for specifics. As a reminder, please do not park on the grass along the driveway or behind the building, which is not a problem on Tuesdays usually, but on Sundays sometimes. If the lot is full, overflow parking can be found via Skyland Drive at the John Lewis Elementary School, and only access the school parking via Skyland Drive and walk through the closed gates to our site. Information on all events can be found in the lobby and on our website at drepung.org. If you're interested in volunteer opportunities to get more involved in supporting our center and programs, please see me or our volunteer coordinator, Michael DeFell, who's here this evening. And if you're interested in becoming a member to support our ongoing programs and take advantage of benefits like discounts on courses and retreats, applications are available in the library. You can also register online. There is a donation box near the entrance of this room. Used to be we would pass around baskets, which was always awkward. But if you are able to donate, that would be helpful to support programs like tonight, and also to support those around the world through our online programs. So thank you for your patience. And now if you'll please stand as we invite our teacher, Geshe Phende, to come for tonight's talk.
Okay, now first, before we start the teaching, there are few prayers we're going to recite it. So the first is the mantra of Heart Sutra, and actually during recitation of this mantra, we're supposed to be meditate on emptiness. The best meditation is meditation on emptiness. But some of you may do not know what that emptiness is. Then if you have no idea, then it's good to at least during the recitation of this mantra, it's good to meditate on compassion to entire sentient beings. Meditate compassion, which means you wish entire beings, including the people you don't like them, you hate them, right? Including them, you wish each and all of them be free from suffering. You wish each and all of them remain happy and peace. So that kind of wish, so if you meditate, means you should feel, experience these wishes, and then recite the mantra. It's something powerful benefit. And some of you know the philosophy emptiness. Then, during recitation of this mantra, meditate on emptiness. Okay, we're going to recite the mantra first. Tayata gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhi soha 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 tayata gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhi soha. Now next prayer is the four immeasurables. Four immeasurables, which are the immeasurable love, compassion, joyfulness, and equanimity. So these are the four practices. So when we recite this prayer, like first when we say, may all beings have happiness. So it's make sure, it's not just the word, it's not just think from your heart. You really wish all beings, right, have happiness. So that's called meditate. Meditate means you have to feel. So when you feel from your heart, you really wish every beings have happiness, what's the benefit? Its benefit is it reduces your anger, hatred. It reduces your self-centered attitude. These are the poison who destroy you, who destroy other people. It constantly hurts you, harms you. The way to get rid of this emotion is you think opposite side. So anger, you hate them, right? So to get rid of that, you love them. So when you love them, your anger will change, right? That's why when we recite this prayer, each of these lines when we recite it, not just word, not just think, you should try to feel it from your heart, experience, specific. The people, some of people you may don't like them, so specific for them, you really try to feel each of those imaginables. So during this prayer, it's important to meditate on 4 imaginables. May all beings have happiness. May they be free from suffering. May they find the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from attachments and hatred. May all beings have happiness. May they be free from suffering. May they find the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from attachments and hatred. May all beings have happiness. May they be free from suffering. May they find the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from attachments and hatred. Now next is called mandala offering, which is the universe. So you visualize your merits, your virtues, form of universe. Then you offer to the teacher. And the purpose of that offering is you asking them, ask to the teacher, please teach me. That's the requesting. The traditionally Buddhists, without requests, you're not allowed to teach. You cannot just go and teach them, right? So the other side have to ask. The reason is, purpose of teaching the Dharma is to learn the Dharma, and the purpose of learning one's Dharma is to reduce one's own ignorance, destructive emotions, mental afflictions, which are the fundamental causes of sufferings. So your destructive emotions will harm you, will hurt you, will destroy you. Your destructive emotion, you are the only person can change. Nobody will change for you. So in order to change them, you have to have desire, wish to change them. So when you have desire, then you put effort. If you don't care about your destructive emotion, then of course this destructive emotion remains same, and the result of that, you always disturbs you, always create problem. That's why it's showing something will. I really want to learn to get rid of my destructive emotion, showing the self-responsibility. So that's why offering the mandala. Okay, we recite that mandala offering. Hoi sai shi pi ji, choi shi me to tama ri rava le shi ni de ke ba ti Sanje shinto me te pe wa ye doi kwe nama dai shin la che pa sho idam guru ratna mendala kamni atayami. So yeah, these are the prayer before we start the teachings. The reason is, one of the reason is, each of us, we need to set up good intentions. If you have good intention, then the teaching, when you receive, it can huge benefit. If your intention is not good, something negative, then these teaching, instead of benefit, it may create problems. Create problem, which means maybe it may create you too much ego, too much arrogance, too much attachments. Then it's not good. That is why before the teaching, reciting this prayer, to meditate, cultivating compassion or love, something like good intention. So that's very, very important. Then today, the topic which I'm going to talk is past and future rebirth. So this is specific relative with the Buddhist practitioners. Our practice is not only seeking to benefit to this life, we're also planning for our future life also. So that is why first we need to understanding this past life and future lives, because I think many people may not believing in the past life and future life. Even within the Buddhist, we traditionally they be saying future life, but the deep of their heart, they may still not believing that. If you're 100% believing on your future life, then you're planning something for your future life, right? If your mind is always thinking about this life, that means even you're saying future life, past life, but the deep of your heart is not that much, believing on these things. So, but the Buddhists, why they believing past and future lives, right? What is the reason, we believe on these things? Then based on that, then how should we, benefit to our future lives? So then understanding, is the Dharma practice we're doing. It's not only to this, this life. It's something much bigger. So when your mind is planning much far behind there, your mind has more relaxed, more calmer. If your mind is very short seeing, only one life, then when this life's getting little problems, easily feel depression, anxiety, fear, because for your mind it's just only one life. So when the person who thinking about future, the countless of life, then compared with countless of life, this life is not that much big deal. It's just one little pieces of, like a mala there, it's just one beads. There are more beads left there. So it's not that much feel some kind of hopeless, Sometimes people feel like hopeless when your things going wrong to your life. So that will never, when your mind is, seeking much far behind there, then small things when they go up and down will not that much affect to you. So believing on future life, actually, in this life, the individual mentally much calmer, much peaceful, and it's easy to forgive, easy to tolerate. When the things going wrong, you can feel much easier forgiveness, patience, tolerance, because your planning is much furthermore down there. It's the deep of your mind, it's very differences. Only believing one life, then it's very difficult. When this life get little problem or something, it's easily, disturbs your mind. So either future life exists or not, believing on these things mentally more beneficial, much better. And always you have some kind of hope. You always have some kind of hope there. So believe in one life, easily you lose your hope, easily feel hopeless. So when you feel hopeless, then your mind, like mental, like power of the mind, the inner strength will decline. It's decline your inner strength when you feel hopeless. That's why it's falling into depressions or sometimes anxiety, all kinds of mental issues. So there's very much things. Some people in this life, they encounter with so many problems, but still they remain very strong. Still they're holding hope still there. Some people even encounter with small problem, easy to give up, hopeless. So why? Because the deeper level, there's something believing. The people who believing in much more, many life in the future there. So one life compared with them is not big deal. So they easily can forgive, they can tolerate, they can easily to apply this practice. So it's mental healing, believing in future life is much better, much easier to heal mental problems. So that's why sometimes when you look back there, the people who grow up with their own belief on the future lives, grow up in that kind of environment, or people who just believe on one life, and only this life, grow in this kind of environment, when they encounter with a problem, you can see the people who grow up in the environment which is believed in only on one life, easily to fall, and easily to feel hopeless, easily to feel depressions, easily to feel fear, all kind of mental issues. That's why believing in the future is, even it exists or not, mentally, huge benefit. And for the Buddhist practitioners, they have some New Age Buddhists now. I'm not sure it's called New Age Buddhists or something. I heard about this. I'm Buddhist, but I'm not believing on rebirth or reincarnation or something. That's quite, I'm not sure what's the definition of Buddhist for them. Actually, as a Buddhist, the essence of our practice, right, where we emphasizing, we emphasize the mind. We have two things. When we born, we have two things, mind and physical body, right? These two things there. So as long as when your mind and body connected, right? It's connected, you are alive. That's called the life. When your mind and body is separated, then it's called death. It's very simple, right? When they're together, you are alive. When they separate, you are death. So that's the definition. So these two things, it's always be there. So among these two, body and mind, for the Buddhists, mind is the one most important part. The purpose is, the reason is, as human beings, sentient beings, our fundamental desire, right, is called innate natural desire. Innate natural, which means that desire is not influenced by society, families, religion. It's just by birth we have desire. What kind of desire we have? Wish to live happy, right? Wish to free from suffering. Wish to live happy, wish to free from suffering. We don't need to learn from anybody. It's just by birth we have that, right? When, for example, when the newborn baby, soon as when she born, she is naked, right? Empty brain. But as soon as when she suffer, she cry. But nobody teach her. So her body language telling us this little newborn baby do not want sufferings. Every movement of her body is for happiness, for comfortable. As soon as she's very comfortable, happy, she's quiet and sleep, right? That's the way we come from. So that desire, wish to live happy, it's our innate natural there. So it's not influenced by anybody. So therefore, we are searching happiness, how to live happy in peace. According to Buddhist belief, happiness and suffering is mainly individual's mental experience. When your mind is experiencing suffering, you say, I'm suffering now. When your mind is experiencing joy, pleasure, say, I'm happy now. So happiness, suffering is consciousness, it's the mind, right? If there is no mind, then what? There's no feeling, happiness or sufferings or whatever. Or there's nothing. You cut this hand, leave it this part of this meat there. Is feel happiness, suffering? Nothing. There's no consciousness there, right? You take it out little pieces of meat, right, flesh from your hand and leave it on table. That flesh, do they feel happiness or suffering? Nothing there. There's no consciousness. Feeling, suffering, happiness is the mind, power of the mind. That is why Buddhism, Buddha Dharma is focused on that mind. Then they thoroughly research what are the causes of suffering, what are the causes of happiness, why this mind is experiencing suffering, why this mind feels so much happy, what kind of things creating happiness and suffering. Thoroughly investigate it, right? And bring all this instruction, all the detailed information, Buddhist psychologies, Buddhist philosophies, Buddhist logic, then upon there, Buddhist meditations. All of these are sake of mental peace, how to keep your mind calm and happiness. That is why Buddhism has very profound, very rich information about the mind. Even today, modern education, in materialistic, modern education is highly developed. But when it comes to the mind, still not, still kindergarten, right? The modern education today. When it comes to the mind, still they are in kindergarten. So Buddhism has lots of information. You look at here, the textbook, right? On this bookshelf, there's 108 volumes text there, right? Inside there, upon there. So there are 108 volumes taught by Buddha, right? Buddha. Most of those informations are psychology, philosophy, meditation. They're little about story and small things and a few. But the majority, most of the teaching is about consciousness, the mind, the psychologies, philosophies. And there are 200, in Tibetan language, we have 213 volumes. Each volume maybe have 400 to 500 pages, right? Those taught by Indian masters, 1st, 2nd, 3rd centuries. It's all about that. So there's so rich, profound information about consciousness, psychology, and philosophy. That showing the essence of the Buddhist practices is the mind, how to take care of that mind. So when there comes past and future life, there are many evidence, general about story. Specific, there are number of story, like a real story, right? Newborn babies, age of 2, 3, they're talking about the past life. There are so many like these things. That's the one side. But the main reason the Buddhists, the proof future life is the mind. So this body, for instance, this body and the mind, I mentioned earlier, I have a mind, I have a body, right? When they are connected, when they function each other, functioning connected, I'm life. When my mind is separated from this body, I'm death, right? That's clear. But this body, we cremate it or, what you call bury, whatever we see, it's gone. Right? A destroyer, cease. But we're talking about the consciousness, the mind. Where is it? Where is gone? That's the main important part. So Buddhists proving past and future life because of the mind. Now here, what is the definition of the mind? Consciousness. It's today, even today, you talk about the modern education, modern psychologists, right? Neuroscientists. Commonly, they still do not have definition about the mind. We all have mind. We all every day to day life, we're utilizing that mind, consciousness. But commonly, they do not have definition. Somebody say it's part of your brain, part of your heart. Sometimes they maybe say this is what you call the frequency or something. I don't know what you call this, waves of the brain, or, I don't know. There are many things they're talking about. But commonly, they still do not have. That's how difficult to understanding about the mind. But the Buddhists, according to Buddhist psychology, the definition of mind is very simple. It's called merely luminous and knowing is the definition of the mind. Merely luminous, clear, and knowing, experience is the definition. Means merely luminous or clear. What that mean? There are many meanings. So one part of meaning is mind, the entity of the mind is invisible. It's formless phenomena, right? It's invisible. Mind, we cannot see. They don't have color. Mind don't have shapes, right? No size, because it's like an energy. It's luminous, clear. Another meaning of luminous, clear means mind is like a mirror. It's reflecting all the image, all the objects reflect to the mind, right? It's like a mirror. It's called the luminous. And what's that entity functioning? What is functioning? It's functioning, experiencing, knowing, right? It's functioning as experiencing and knowing. So that type of entity, energy, is called mind, consciousness. That means. So that phenomena, the entity, do not have form, right? It's like an energy. Things which they do not have form, that means you cannot cut, right? How sharp sword you have, you cannot cut the mind because they don't have any form. It's formless, it's invisible, it's like an energy. You cannot burn it, right? How strong fire you use it, you cannot burn your mind because they don't have any form, it's invisible. So you cannot chop it, you cannot cut it, you cannot burn it. So after, when your mind separated from your body, where is it? Where is gone? None of things will be stopped. None of things will be cut your minds. So where's that energy going on? So that's why the mind never ended. That energy, that entity, after when they're separated from your body, constantly remain, constantly traveling. That's why we're saying the reincarnation, future life, which means when this mind connecting to this body is the present, right? After disconnected, after travel, disconnected from your body, it's called death. Then that mind, where it go? That mind have to connect into the another body. This body is like a house, host your consciousness. Your mind host by body. Like for instance, electricities, right? The electricity powers go through the wires, right? Wires are something hosting, keeping that electricity to run through that, right? When you cut the wires, electricity stop, right? But electricity is not the wire. Wire is not the electricity, right? So it's similar like that. Our brains, our body is like hosting your mind. It's not the mind there, right? But it hosts it. So when the mind separated from there, so they have to connect into another body, another house. So that's why when this mind disconnect, travel, and connect into the another body, it's called rebirth, reincarnations. So now, what kind of body this mind will go? Who make decision, right? When this body, mind is separated from this body, they're connected to the another body. So what kind of body? Who make the decision, right? It's called karma. That's what the Buddhists believe on karma, actions. So that mind and the present moment, out of this mind, they act so many things, good action, bad actions, right? When that mind becomes too much negative, they act more negative action. When their minds remain positive, they act more positive. So they accumulated so many karmas during the present moment. All of those actions, the karmas, karma is like a potential, it's the power. So remain on one's own mind. The mind is like sometimes they use the word called storehouse consciousness, storing all of these actions, the potentials. So those potential actions are traveling with the mind, negative actions, karmas becoming more powerful, and the result of that mind connecting to the negative body, right? So-called unfortunate life. If the more positive karma is there, more stronger, then positive karma will take your consciousness by those karma to connecting to the positive body. It's called fortunate realms, right? So that's why next, which kind of body, which kind of life, higher positive life or unfortunate suffering life, is based on the karma which is with your consciousness, right? It's with consciousness traveling by those karmas. Karma is the one to pushing them, pulling into those realms. So it's not individuals' decision, it's the karmas creating this. So karma creates by destructive emotions, right? Anger, attachment, jealousy, arrogance. So therefore, as long as destructive emotions there with us, it constantly accumulating karma. And those karmas taking over us, we become powerless. These are the ones take our next rebirths. So when we say circling in samsara, right? Mundane world. Circling in samsara means consciousness, the mind, which is full of contaminated karmas, because these consciousness are under the influence of destructive emotion, mental afflictions. When your mind is under the influence or polluted by mental afflictions constantly accumulating contaminated karmas. Even good karma still contaminated, right? Out of attachment, sometimes you do good things, right? But still contaminated, because attachment is part of destructive emotion, wrong consciousness. That's why contaminated karma results contaminated realms called samsara. So circling into samsara is because of our consciousness, our mind is polluted by mental afflictions. So as long as when your mind is polluted by mental affliction, then that mind's always connecting to the contaminated aggregates. That's called samsara, right? Contaminated aggregates. So free from contaminated aggregates. Samsara means you need to cut those mental afflictions. When your mind is free from mental afflictions, then there's no more contaminated karma, right? If there's no negative contaminated karma, the mind itself's free. They don't need to follow with these karmas. You can get it pure aggregates. So freedom from samsara, which means actually when your mind is free from your mental afflictions. So that's why Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, Buddha's teaching is mainly about to overcome those mental afflictions, to overcome. It's mainly about the mind, how to clean those mental afflictions. So applying Buddhism, practicing Buddha Dharma, which means you are practicing to antidote to one's own mental afflictions. You are cleansing, you are purifying your mental afflictions. That's called practicing Buddha Dharma. It's not only sit in front of the Buddha, recite some prayers, mantras, offerings, or these are just surface. It's good, but these are the not main thing. These are part. Sometime maybe the prayers you recite out of greed, out of attachments, then what? It's nothing benefit, It's nothing benefit. So sometimes not understanding Buddha Dharma properly, another word is not understanding the Buddha's teaching, and we just doing some things, we think I'm doing practice Dharma, but actually it's not. Practicing Dharma doesn't mean it becoming Dharma. Becoming Dharma or practicing Dharma, they are two different things. And like a traditionally Buddhist. Traditionally Buddhist means like myself. You know, you're born into the Buddhist family, right? It's a very little age, go to the temple, hearing these things, all kind of things. It's culture Buddhist. So the culture Buddhist, sometimes we saying, I'm Buddhist, but actually you're Buddhist by culture. So sometimes there's advantages, sometimes there's disadvantages. Disadvantages which is they do not know Buddha Dharma properly. They knowing the Buddha Dharma is culture Buddha Dharma, which is go to the temple, recite some prayers, offering the candlelights or some incense, like a external ritual things. But this ritual thing is becoming Buddha Dharma or not based on each individual's mental intention. So some unfortunately they do not know this thing, they just know culture thing. They put so much effort to go there, recite the mantra 100 times, 1,000,000 times, hours and hours, but sometimes not that much benefit, unfortunately, because they do not focus on the mind. Sometimes people can do, I want to be very rich, I want to be powerful, then go to the Buddha and prayers and all. Its intention is greed, attachments, selfish. So those practice the mantra, how much they recite it, instead of reduce your greed, reduce your attachments, increasing more attachments, right? That means it goes opposite. So that's why it's not becoming Buddha Dharma. Means why it's not becoming? Because this practice, instead of reducing suffering, it's increased the suffering, because it's increased more greeds, more attachments, right? So that's why a lack of understanding real Buddha Dharma, people make lots of mistakes. So therefore, first important part here, I mentioned beginning of this topic, I say it's all about the mind. So therefore, first we need to know what's mean by the mind, right? That's why in commonly, according to the Buddhist psychology, we have clear information. The definition of mind is merely luminous and knowing or experience is the definition of the mind. So that entity, because of being luminous, being invisible, being like an energy, none of things will be stopped. So it's constantly traveling. So that's why it's called reincarnation, rebirth. Means this mind is constantly travel to connect to the one body, and these bodies 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 90 years maybe take care. Eventually the body's declining the energy, eventually cannot able to host the mind, right? Maybe because of the disease, because of the lack of energy, whatever reason, cannot host the mind. When they cannot do that, that mind have to leave, right? It's leave to another body. That's called rebirth, right? It's just like that, constantly, till you are free from your mental afflictions. When your mind is completely free from your mental affliction, this mind is freedom, right? Nothing negative things in there. Nobody can power you by negative sides. So that pure mind still, it's still there. It never ends, it's still there, but it don't need to go circle in samsara, don't need to remain with a contaminated, fragile body. They can remain with the uncontaminated body, called the pure body. Sometimes they use the words called mental body, right? Like a rainbow body. So this kind of body itself, very subtle, very pure, is never declining. So mind can remain wherever they want to stay, because there's nothing, anything powers you. Right now our mind is not freedom, it's dominated by anger, attachment, jealousy, so much negative mind. You are powerless. They make decision to take us to the unfortunate life, right? That's called next samsara. You're taking rebirth, but still part of samsara. So when you're completely free from those mental affliction, then it's called nirvana, right? Liberation, right? Liberation. When your mind is free from all your mental affliction, it's very pure and clean. When the mind is very pure and clean, then that mind never ever experience any suffering, because it's pure, very clean, right? Outside other mind cannot go into this mind, right? And their own mind is completely pure. So there's no any causes, condition to hurt that mind. That's called full of peace, right? Nirvana. It's a peaceful mind. So till reach that level, we put our practice constantly to deal with this destructive emotion, to reduce them slowly, finally completely eliminate it. You can see it's the pure mind. For example, even this life, if you try to suppress your anger, among the general we're talking about nimojeti, which means negative emotions which we have is 84,000 negative emotion, according to Buddhist psychologists, right? 84,000 negative emotion. Among there, just one, anger. If you try to get rid of your anger, if you remain without anger for this life, you can see how much creates you a happy life, peaceful life. Living in samsara, there's many troubles around there, lots of troublemakers around there, constantly make trouble here, there. But if you fully control your anger, how much they make trouble? It's not that much effect mentally, it's not that much hurts you. When you are a very angry guy, even little problems arises, it can hurt so deeply. How much it hurts you is not based on how bad the problem is, based on how much anger arises. If you feel at that moment so much angry, this thing will hurt so deep. If you don't feel any angry, it didn't hurt you anything. Living in the office, maybe somebody shouting you, using very bad words. If you don't feel any anger to that guy, it didn't hurt you, it's just like an air, right? If you feel so much angry, upset, then it really hurts you. Even when you come back to the home, still it creates you pain. So how much hurts your mind is based on how much emotion arises. So finally your mind only hurts by your own mind, your own emotion, nothing else. Their anger is there, not in here, right? He or she very much angry. Whatever angry, if I don't feel any angry, it doesn't matter. It's not effect to your mind, right? Who will hurt your mind? Your anger, your attachment, your jealousy, your arrogance. So finally, mainly when I say I'm suffering, which means your mind is suffer, right? Your mind is suffering. Who can hurt your mind? Your own emotion, nothing else, none of them, your own emotions. So imagine if you are completely free from each of these destructive emotions, then your mind is always remain very calm and happy, right? That is why you're saying the Bodhisattvas is one of the happiest beings. Why those Buddhas are the happiest beings? Many Bodhisattvas, their physical life is very challenging. When you look into the life story about those great masters, right, yogis, their physical life is lots of challenge. But these are the one most happiest person. Why? Because their mind is so clean. Physical unfortunate situation cannot hurt their mind, because the mind itself is very pure. Any unfortunate situation when they encounter, they convert into fortunate situation. So when they convert into fortunate situation, mind feels more happier. For instance, there's a guy so much angry and shouting them, and he or she become angry because maybe he lost his family or he lost his job, suffering so much. That's why I feel angry. And then angry is shouting so much, right? Then when they're shouting, as a Bodhisattvas, when they're seeing this guy is shouting, for him, that behave is the behave of compassion. This guy is so much suffering now. So more shouting, you feel more compassion, because this guy is suffering. It's looking different way. So when you feel so much compassion to this guy, how much they shouted, it didn't hurt. Instead of hurting, feel more compassion. And compassion, feeling deeper level, it brings you very calm. It creates you inner strength, inner willpowers. So that's why these Bodhisattvas remain very peace and happy. Another guy is don't see that way. Shouting, doing like that, oh, very bad guy, blah, blah, blah. He becomes so angry. When that guy becomes so much angry, fear, what's going to do? Suffer, right? He so much suffer of fear, suffer of angry, cannot sleep well. That's showing. So finally, who hurts your mind? Your own emotions, destructive emotions. So when you put effort to clean those destructive emotions, then your minds remain more calmer, more peaceful. Whatever external situation, wherever you go, when your mind is really pure, whatever external difficult situation will not that much able to hurt you. When your mind is so much negative, even external things quite good, little problem can easily affect to your mind and hurts you, right? That is why taking care of one's mind is most important in order to live happy life. That's why we need to understanding the mind. It's not just only one simple thing. You can talk about that mind constantly, travel till even you achieve enlightenment, still there, never end it. So therefore, life, which is we label mental continuum, life which means mental continuum, never ended. It's keep going. But it sometimes stay with this kind of body, sometimes stay with that body. Different types of the body we label animal, human being, or male, female, young, old. We just label on that based on that body. But these are just temporary. 70, 80, 90 years, then finish. It goes to another one. Constantly keep going, that minds. So that's why the rebirth, where the Buddha is believing, and the rebirth is because of that, the mind itself. Then when we talk about the mind, it's not just simple one phenomena. It's very complicated. Mind, a very gross mind, to very, very subtle mind. There are many different levels. Grosser mind, which means the mind which will more depend on your body, these minds called the more gross level of mind. Mind which is less depend on your physical body, mind's becoming more subtle. Finally, nothing depend on physical, subtlest mind. So there are very different types of the minds. So these philosophy, like subtle minds, which in the Buddhist, they're talking about the Vajrayana. In the Vajrayana, you may hear, Buddha-dhamma, we have Sutrayana, Vajrayana. Vajrayana philosophy, which talking about all these subtle level of the mind, how to practice, how to utilizing this subtle mind. Detailed information comes to the Vajrayana philosophy. But main thing is, grosser, like for instance, our eye, ear, nose, body, these are grosser level of mind, very gross. When our eye faculties go something damaged, our eye consciousness cannot function, right? It's fully depend on there. We have certain type of thoughts, emotion there, which depend on our brains. When the certain type of the brain's damaged, this consciousness cannot function. These are the very grosser level of mind. Our memories, all kind of things. Certain type of the brain where they damage, our memory will lose, right? It's a very gross level. So that's why when we die, new rebirth, when we're born, we do not know our past life, we're completely forgetting. Because most of the memories, the minds are very grosser. It depends on your brains. So next, it's a completely different brains comes. But they do have certain type of what you call the imprints, and the memory imprints, sometimes they remain on subtle mind, able to remain that. So therefore, when these mind get to the next life, sometime even the new young boy or girls can remember our past lives, because they keep that imprints, they put it into more subtle minds, right? That's why. So when we talk about the mind, there are variety levels. So it's not just simple one thing. That's very complicated, variety minds there. So therefore, when we talk about next rebirth, we're talking mostly very subtle minds. These are never ended, constantly travel. Therefore, the final reason about our next life is not only the story, all kind of things, it's mainly consciousness, mental continuum. It's never ended. It constantly goes there. That's why we're believing on our next life. It's because of that. And then understanding on our next life, then our focus is to cleansing one destructive emotion. In this life alone, not enough. Destructive emotions are very strong. It's very deep there. So it takes many lives to clean. Therefore, when we practice in Buddhism, it's not only planning in the one life, planning for many lives to put our effort to cleaning our destructive emotion. Therefore, as a Buddhist, believing on rebirth is how important they are. What's the reason of believing on rebirth? It's because of it's all ended up into the mind. That's why. Okay, now I'm going to stop here. So the final, our conclusion is, here we're going to recite the compassion mantra first. So what we're going to do is, whatever merit, virtues we accumulate through discuss on these topics, so we're dedicating those merit to benefit to entire sentient beings. That is why when we're reciting the mantra, 6 syllable, we did meditating on compassion. We're dedicating them entire sentient beings, free from their sufferings, free from their ignorance, free from their destructive emotions, right? So out of that dedication with compassion, then recite the mantra. Okay, now we're going to recite the mantra. Om mani padme hum. 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 And thus, honorable, compassionate gurus, we seek your blessings that all karmic debts, obstacles, and sufferings of mother beings may be taught assumption, ripen upon us right now, and that we may give our happiness and virtues to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. And thus, honorable, compassionate gurus, we seek your blessings that all karmic debts, obstacles, and sufferings of mother beings may be taught assumption, ripen upon us right now, and that we may give our happiness and virtues to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. Lai mai tu ji chen mai tu tu ve ti tu ne ma li da lai mi pa ta da ji te Geshe lai ta wa yi troi kuyen de ta de ba ji ji lo troi kuyen de ta de ba ji ki lo Janju Simcho Rinpoche Maki Panam Ki Chuchi Keba Nyamba Mebai Kone Kondo Bewer Show. May the precious and sublime bodhicitta not yet born be born, and that which has been born not decline but increase forever. Okay, thank you.